Hello and welcome to In Focus. I'm your host, Yesenia Taveras. The Delaware Chapter of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women is a local affiliate of the National Nonprofit Advocacy Group. And joining us now is the chapter president, Raye Jones Avery, and the chapter's vice president of finances and fund development, Melanie Daniels. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yes, welcome, welcome. We enjoy having people like this on our show to talk about everything that you're doing in the community, not only for Black women, but those who are also in school. So let's get a little bit into that. Tell us a little bit about what the National Coalition of Black Women is.
We're part of a network of chapters, more than 60 chapters across the United States and the Virgin Islands. The common thread that we all share, we are an advocacy organization. We advocate for gender equity and for equity in health, education, and economic development. And so economic empowerment as well. So that's the common thread. We all carry out our mission in different strategies, but we have a common focus around equity for Black women and girls in this country.
And what does that look like? How do you address those issues in the health, education, and economic empowerment sections?
Well, we use research and data to guide our efforts, because the more that we know factually about how we are faring and the conditions that impact Black women and girls in more significant ways in the general population, that helps to guide our efforts. And so I'll give you some examples. For health equity, we have a growing and we've been silent about it, challenges around behavioral health and mental health and wellness. And so we have had a social media campaign for several months now, bringing attention to the need for us to be engaged in self-care, for us to seek help and take care of ourselves, and to not be silent about depression or about anxiety disorders and those kinds of conditions that affect many people. We also are very focused in on leadership development. And what does leadership development look like? Being a member we always are focused on leadership development. We have a number of new members that are leading in all of the areas within the organization. And we have a new leadership training program that I'll let Melanie, as one of the originators of the concept, talk about.
Okay, well, before we get to that, I really want to touch bases on the mental health campaign,
okay,
because I think that is something wonderful that the organization is doing. But to that regards, how important is it to educate and bring awareness to the communities that we live in about mental health, especially within the minority sector? I mean, it is looked upon in the Hispanic and African American communities that we don't want to seek help because we don't want to admit that we have a problem or that mental health is actually an illness. So tell us a little bit about that campaign, because I really do think that this is something needed in our community.
Well, the campaign simply says that we are mind, body, and spirit. We are not just body. And so when we have some type of cancer or other kinds of physical conditions that also affect our emotional wellness, we seek help. But as you said, culturally, when we are feeling sad and can't pull ourselves out of the sadness, or anxious, or have other mood disorders, there is a stigma that we don't talk about. And so what we're doing, this first step, is to break the silence.
That's right.
So the silence needs to be broken. There is help there for all of us. That we all have periods of time when we are completely stressed, and it affects us in very significant ways. And so the social media campaign will be followed by workshops and other kinds of face-to-face contact with members of our community. And we're talking with decision makers also, because the way that services are delivered, we need more culturally competent therapists, and we just need to do things differently than we have.
Oh, I agree completely, wholeheartedly, because like you said, within our ethnicities, it's not really looked upon, but here you are addressing the issue and you're letting them know that there's resources and there's help.
There's help.
And that treatment and recovery is possible.
Absolutely.
But it can improve.
Absolutely.
It can improve. And I think that that's the beauty of our organization, is that we want to be that voice for the voiceless. We want to speak out about access to care, because without access to care, you can't get the help that you need.
That's right. And I'm a really strong advocate on information changes situations. So not until one is knowledgeable and knows that this is available could they seek help.
Absolutely.
And here you are right
Absolutely.
here bringing it to them.
And there's a lot of shame associated with even family members that have schizophrenia or bipolar disorder. There's a lot of shame associated with it, and we have no shame.
I like that. I do. And you have no shame when it comes to building leaders as well.
Yeah, then we need to be compassionate.
Yes, I agree, compassion. And it's kind of been lost over the years, I would say, with everything that's going on nationally and internationally and in our world that we live in, right? But addressing this here locally is one step at a time that we can do.
Right.
So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So let's get into the leadership part of your organization. What does that look like?
Well, we have started, we've launched an inaugural program, which is Marianne Shedd Carey Margaret Rose Henry Civic Engagement Program. It is a mouthful, but
I like it though.
Yes,
Because she's very known for so many leadership things that she did within our community as well.
Oh, absolutely.
As a woman.
And the thing is that Marianne Shedd Carey was a Margaret Rose Henry back in her day. She was one of the first blacks that involved herself on the political scene, ran for offices. So she and Margaret Rose Henry are doing the same kind of thing. We're really trying to create leaders that will stand up and have a voice. Stand up and run for an office. Stand up and support a campaign. The great thing about the program is that it's a short time period. There are 6 to 7 really high impact sessions. We're focused on looking at 2 areas, of course, of the state. Kent and Sussex County will have a session there, and then also Newcastle County. And we want to have women come in, and it's ages 18 and up.
Oh, wow.
So we want to engage every area where black women can learn kind of the 101 of advocacy. How do you have a voice? How do you speak up? How do you address things as simple as issues in a PTA? So we will cover all of those issues, and we'll also have some very strong speakers coming in to talk about their experience in different areas of civic engagement.
And are there workshops held throughout this summit?
Yes.
And mentoring opportunities where the women who are actually on the panel talking to the audience, or I should say the attendees, they get to actually meet them one-on-one?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a very interactive session, each one of the sessions, because one, we're going to cover some materials that we've put together. We've put together a whole curriculum for the program, and we've also enlisted Delaware State to make sure that the program is one that will continue on. But we want to make sure that the women have this interaction with those that have been in civic engagement, that have been in grassroots advocacy, so that they can learn what are the tough roads, what are the lessons, what can I change, what can I do differently, how can I get involved, as simple as that. Community association. So we're really covering a whole landscape of civic engagement.
Oh, well, that's very valuable, Melanie, because one who could be young and really want to make a voice. I mean, now we're seeing young women, African-American women, 14 years old and 15, 16, so on, that are really taking leadership positions within our community. We have innovators, entrepreneurs, and things of that matter. But here you're allowing them to not only learn and seek, but you're going to meet and connect with those who've already been through the ropes. And sometimes people lose sight of that. If someone's already gone through the journey, they can minimize some of the headaches that you might come across and obstacles. So that connection that you're giving them right there on that platform is amazing.
Exactly.
Absolutely, and we learn from one another. So to piggyback on the information, it's very important. We are accepting applications right now. Our website, the applications are on our website at ncbwde.org. It is statewide. It is Newcastle County, Kent, and Sussex. So women statewide are invited, and we will have a central location for the Kent and Sussex participants. And so these women will move together as a group.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is this an event that happens one time a year, but they stay
It will happen
involved with
over
each
a
other?
period of months. So they will stay as a group over a period of months for different sessions that follow the curriculum.
Okay.
And then our vision is that they will continue to hang together throughout, moving forward into the future, because relationships will form and partnerships will develop, both social friendships as well as partnerships to better the condition and the quality of life in the state of Delaware.
Definitely, because we all know how far connections can take you, especially here in this small state of Delaware.
Right.
Exactly right.
One thing I wanted to point out is that out of all of the subpopulations in the United States, black women have higher rates of voting than any other group in this country.
Exactly.
Oh, that's amazing.
But we are very underrepresented. And even though we are changing, we are making progress, as you pointed out, we still remain underrepresented at decision-making tables.
Wow, that's a hard statistic to look at, because there was once a time when we couldn't vote at all.
Right.
And now everyone's showing up. Here you have them showing up. But like you said, they need to be represented at the table as well, because that's what's going to help make change, the proper change, I should say, in all the environments that we work in.
So yes, we are the highest subgroup in terms of voter participation, but unfortunately everyone is not showing up across the board.
Right.
We still have very low voter turnout, and so we need to change that. And we need to just give the simple message that your one vote matters.
That's right.
Yep.
Even in our organization, we have really difficult decisions to make at times, and that one vote is going to swing the decision.
And so how are you guys addressing that within our communities?
Great question. So we've been engaged with
You are the women.
We've been engaged with voter education, getting the vote out, in coalition with other civic organizations in Newcastle County and throughout the state. We partnered with the Metropolitan Women's and Urban League to hold several political candidates forums so that people are informed voters. So they are hearing the platforms, listening to the values and the backgrounds of the candidates. And the voter education forum that was held this summer at the Delaware Contemporary was awesome. It was all day. Mel was involved as a timekeeper, hard job. He put up the sign, and people were like, "Keep on talking."
Yes.
But I'm really excited about the direction. We have been going down this road for 22 years, and we just keep pressing forward. It's a lot to do.
But it's amazing, because that's the type of exposure that our minorities need here in the city and in the state as well.
So we're all volunteers, and we have to raise funds in order to do the programming. So our programming, we've released the first of its kind research State of the Union this year. We've done briefings across the state. So I want to make sure that we let Mel talk about our upcoming fundraiser.
Sure.
So that is our Gentleman's Cook-Off. It is our signature fundraiser. We actually hold it probably every 2 years, and it provides all of the funding for everything that we do: advocacy, public policy, any of our programs with health, education, and economic empowerment. And the wonderful thing is that we get to see men cooking.
Who doesn't like seeing that?
And they can cook.
Yes.
Yes.
It's amazing when you find one who's really in there to cook.
So we have 30 chefs that will join us at the Delaware Art Museum on Saturday, September 29th from 6 to 11. And just like Raye said, they are cooking appetizers, entrees, desserts. It is amazing, the list of food items that we're going to have. And of course, the winner is by people's choice. So it's
I was just going to say, how's the judging process?
So each one of the guests get 4 tickets, and they have to taste everything. So all 30 dishes, and then they get to choose their top 4. They go into a ballot box. We count the number of tickets that each chef gets, and whoever is the grand prize winner is getting a cash prize of $500. And then we have some lower prizes, first, second, and third for the runners-up.
And let's talk about the proceeds, because from my understanding, this is just not all about food and cooking. The funds are going somewhere else too as well. So let's talk about that, because I don't want to forget that.
So we have a lot of aspects. One, of course, is our public policy work and the research that we do with State of Our Union and the publications, also with our programming, but most importantly with our mentoring program. We have 100 Bridges Mentoring, which is focused on middle and high school girls, Black girls. Where we actually expose them to the members of the organization. We talk about being a team player, being a leader, what does it look like, how to interact with adults, those very important key elements that you need to know as a growing girl. So we support that. And then also we give scholarships. Over the years that the organization has been in existence, we've given over $262,000 in scholarships for girls to continue on, whether a traditional route or non-traditional route to college.
And that's wonderful.
And that scholarship fund honors our first vice president for programs, Dr. Teresa Drummond, who was a native Wilmingtonian.
Okay, and so I would just want to touch bases on the need for having this available for students, because the scholarships, as we know, is going to be used for college tuition, books, and things of that nature. So how important is it for your organization to incorporate a mentoring program as such in your organization efforts and mission?
Oh, it's paramount. I mean, that is the
Like, what are some of the
foundation.
benefits you've been able to see?
Well, interestingly enough, the chairman of our 100 Bridges program now was a scholarship recipient of the organization when she was in high school.
That's
so we actually follow the students and try to make sure that they get the support that they need. She saw the worth of the organization supporting her, and now she's come back, been a member, and continuing the mentoring program for us.
That's wonderful. So as we heard, there's going to be great food.
Absolutely.
There's going to be men back there cooking it. I'm pretty sure they're going to look great as well. And the
Absolutely.
proceeds are for the greatest benefit cause, the scholarships for the students to attend college, especially for those who might not be able to get any other type of scholarship or funding, student loans, first time going to university. It's a big cost.
That's the number
definitely.
one reason that students drop out of school is a lack of funds. Number one reason, not grades.
That's right.
Yeah,
And lack
number
of
one reason.
funds.
And the scholarship also supports non-traditional women.
Okay. So that's one area. So this event is going to happen on September 29th.
September
September
29th
29th.
at the beautiful Delaware Art Museum on Kentmere Parkway. It's 10 minutes from downtown Wilmington. The Delaware Art Museum has been an awesome partner in pulling this venture together under Mel's leadership. And we have all, as cultural organizations, I lead a cultural organization, been focusing in on the reflections, the response, and the action around the 1968 uprisings that occurred across this country after the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King. And so there is a gallery that has photographs of Wilmington as a part of the exhibit, so that there will be a full experience. We have Kelsey Johnson, who was a contestant on The Voice, will be our featured performer that evening, and we have other musicians that will be playing as well. So it's, are you coming?
Yes, I'm listening. I'm like, all of this is happening. Yes.
Please be our guest.
Oh, definitely. I will
Absolutely.
be there.
And
more
we
than
invite everyone that's tuning in to be our guest as well.
Please join us.
Yes, I was going to say, for those who are watching and not only want to get involved with the mentoring sector, the leadership sector, giving back to the cause of the scholarships, like, how can they get involved with this organization? Obviously, it's just not 100 women. It's more than that. It's all through over 14,000 members in the nation.
Yes.
So
Right.
if someone's watching and wants to get involved, what do they need to do?
Awesome question. Visit our website,
Absolutely.
find out more information about the organization. There is a pull down screen on membership. There is an interest application that should be completed and resent back in, and that's step one. We want to make certain that there's a right fit between the organization and the interested applicants. After we host interest meetings where we give additional information, and we also hear from women to better understand what their interest is. Because at the end of the day, the things that we described and activities, the level of activity is significant. And so people, it's important for people to make the coalition a priority and to make the time to carry out the work of the coalition. After the interest meetings, we conduct, informal conversations, and then, both the organization and the applicants decide if they want to move forward.
Okay.
Okay.
And thank you. And lastly, before we leave, Melanie, why? Why should someone actually look into joining your organization?
Oh, it's a fantastic organization. One, we are advocating on behalf of Black women and girls, and when Black women and girls succeed, communities succeed, states succeed, the world succeeds.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, ladies, for your time today. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.
And that's all for today. Thank you for watching In Focus. I've been your host, Yesenia Taveras. And on behalf of all of us here at WITN 22, thank you for watching.